Mr. President Perez, it is such an honor and a pleasure to participate in this exciting and high-level forum. Thank you very much for inviting me. As Professor Fischer said, my point of view won't be a financial one, but an economic and political one. My first point is trying to see where we are today, 13 months after Lehman Brothers' fall. In terms of public opinion, the governments have to answer very demanding questions from the people, 3 types of questions. And you will notice that they all are linked to confidence in the capitalist system as a whole. The first question is why and how could an American bankruptcy drag our real economy into such a recession? The second question is why the governments had to put such amounts of money into the financial system. And is this amount of money properly used? The third type of question is the gap between better economic and financial figures you can see on the papers and the still increasing rate of unemployment. I'm talking about Europe. As long as this unemployment situation won't be better, we can't say that the crisis is over. Indeed, encouraging signals show that a good path has been taken to exit the crisis. Particularly, the stimulus packages are quite efficient, but by nature, stimulus packages are temporary. As Professor Fischer said, there are still a lot of uncertainty and confusion as to know whether or not we are out of the difficulties. Coming to France, our economy is doing better than the other European economies. We expect a slightly positive growth for next year, and we are committed, under the impulse of Nicolas Sarkozy, to implement a program of various reforms in order to develop a more competitive and innovative economy. Coming to longer-term views, we think that the crisis is an opportunity to develop a new capitalist model. For that, we must first agree on what are the causes of the crisis. Let me here quote Nicolas Sarkozy in a speech delivered at the end of August. For him, the main cause of the financial crisis is, I'm quoting, an endless deregulation and blind trust in financial players' responsibility, which has led to widespread irresponsibility due to the search of quick profits. That's why France is working so hard with her partners to promote international financial rules based on transparency, regulation, and responsibility. The following speakers will talk in details, I'm sure, and with a high level of skill, with issues like the scope of regulation, accounting rules, banks' capitalization, and so on. Behind technicalities, the political debate comes to the limits of auto-regulation, the need for contracyclical device, and the necessity to upgrade mid-term vision. In this context, fighting tax havens or trying to set more, decent rules and more mid-term oriented rules in terms of traders' bonuses are not only symbolic topics. They are important tools to secure the financial system itself and once again to bring back confidence. Beyond finance, this crisis is an opportunity for a new type of globalization, a renewed capitalism, in which, I'm quoting Nicolas Sarkozy again, everything Oil, commodities, wheat, stocks shouldn't be subject to speculation apart from real economy. To build this new system, international cooperation is the only way. During last month, fortunately, the risk of protectionism has not had significant and effective damages. Another good news is improvement in terms of a government's capacity to cope together with common issues, this at the European level and at the global level. We think that the world matters can be discussed just between 7 or 8 countries. We must associate the emerging countries to the discussions. That's why France is so keen on promoting the G20 as the main place for monitoring global issues. When I talk about association, I mean that emerging countries should have duties and rights. For example, it has become clear that international cooperation needs to be enhanced in a way that puts significant emphasis on monitoring economies and exchange rate. The IMF will have to play a major role, particularly concerning the size of current account surplus and deficits. Pittsburgh G20 summit was important in that world leaders agreed that a framework for strong, sustainable, and balanced growth is needed. I shall insist on the word balanced. In this new framework, domestic saving should rise in countries with large external deficit, while surplus countries are expected to develop domestic sources of growth. As finding for new paths of growth, education and R&D will be crucial. We believe that we should especially think green and look for growth in more environmentally friendly and less carbon dioxide intensive industries. Israel, like Europe and France, have a special role to play in terms of technology to reduce the dependence on oil and to fight against climate change. I was very impressed, Mr. President, by your speech about the commitment of Israel to green technology and your commitment to reduce the dangerous dependence on oil. I hope that water and energy could be interesting sectors to develop academic partnership and also joint investments between our two countries and between our companies, especially SMEs and the most innovative of them. Talking about green, of course, the Copenhagen conference will be a very interesting and turning point. To go still a little further in facing tomorrow, 2 last points. The new capitalism and new international cooperation we are looking for need an overall view. Don't forget that before being a finance crisis, the crisis was also a food crisis in many countries and a fuel crisis. We think that finance issues, trade issues, environment and social issues can be addressed separately with international institutions without links between them. That's why, for example, Nicolas Sarkozy invited ILO around the G20 table, and that we propose modalities in order to improve dialogue between WTO, ILO, and so on. The same idea of a more comprehensive approach of the economic, financial, and social issues leads to the question of measuring how well our economies are doing. Here comes the question of tools to measure performance in a less speculative and a more green world. That's why our president, as you may know, asked Professor Stiglitz, Professor Sen, and Professor Sitoussi to thank the measurement of economic performance and social progress. They have already identified the main limits in GDP as the sole indicator of performance and progress. And they have proposed a number of indicators which could be a new set of indicators in this new world, according to the changes of our model of growth and also to the changes in the citizens' aspirations. We are talking about politics. Finally, as a conclusion, is we agree on the fact that the key factor of the crisis has been a lack of responsibility and of a mid-long-term vision. Then we know that the path for a new capitalism beyond the crisis lies in a better sense of responsibility with more comprehensive vision. This addresses citizens, finance people, companies, researchers. France also put interesting ideas on the table for government debate and for citizens debate. The key point, as I said, is confidence. Mr. President, I want to tell you that your Looking for Tomorrow program gives us confidence. Thank you very much.